Hello everyone. We're going to be looking at square numbers today. So we are going to be using this instrument which is called thin square tiles, and we are going to be using that along with hundreds board, right? So what are square numbers? So let's try to form some squares with these tiles. What is the most simplest square we can form with the tile? It's if I place this tile here in this corner, that's a square, right? Now, if I want to find bigger squares, let's take some more tiles and try to form squares which are bigger than this. So how can I do that? I can place 4 of these tiles here. Okay, 3 of these tiles additional. And that forms a slightly bigger square. Right? Now, how many squares do I have? I've got 4 squares. And each side of the square is 2. Right? Let's try to form even bigger square. So let's try to place some more tiles and see how we can form a bigger tile than this. Any guesses? How many tiles will we have? Yes, that's the next bigger square. And as you can see, there are 9 squares in this, 9 tiles. And each side of the square is 3. Right? Now, if I want to form the next bigger square, what would that be? So let's try that out. So if I place some more squares using these square tiles, then you'll see that I will need 16 tiles to form the next bigger squares, right? Now each of these numbers that we saw a single tile, and then the next one was 4 tiles, and the next one was 9 tiles, and then the next one is 16 tiles. All these are called square numbers. Why are they called square numbers? Because each of these things is in the form of a square. And the sides of the square that we have, these are called square roots of these square numbers. So you can think of roots as something which is used to build something. So if I want to build a square number 16, I can take 4 and multiply it by the same 4 and I will get a 16, right? So when a number is multiplied by itself, you get a square number. You can see that for each of these cases. There was a square number when I multiplied 1 by 1. I got another square number when I multiplied 2 by 2. And then I got another square number when I multiplied 3 by 3. And now this is another square, which is multiplication of 4 and 4, right? Now if you continue like this, where will the next square number be? It will be occupying all these squares, and that will be having 5 multiplied by 5, and that will give you 25 tiles. So 25 is the next square number. And then the next square number would be something which goes 6 by 6, which gives you 36. And then you have 49 and so on, right? So why don't you go ahead and try to form all these square numbers. And as you form these square numbers, you write down whatever you are observing in your worksheet, right? So if you have number of tiles along each side of the square and how many tiles will be there in total in the square, you need to write it down here. So in this case, for example, if I have 5 tiles along each side, you will have 25 tiles in the square and so on, right? So each of these things is called a square number, and these numbers are called square roots of these square numbers, right? We can also do another interesting activity with this. You turn to the other side of the hundreds board and try to locate all the square numbers in this hundreds board. So what is the first square number? The first square number is 1. The next square number is 4. And then the next one would be 9. And then the next one would be 16. And then 25, 36, 49 and so on. So try to locate all the possible square numbers on the hundreds board. Well, I hope you enjoyed this activity and got a clear understanding of what we mean by square numbers.